Welcome to NFL Imperialism. You may have seen this concept floating around YouTube, but I wanted to put my own spin on it and hopefully improve it. Before we get started, I humbly ask that you take a moment to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. This is going to be a series, and this channel has some other videos as well, sports related, entertainment related. We do a lot here, trying to grow the audience. We appreciate the fact that you're here right now. We ask that you continue to stay with us. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. If you're interested in a full, thorough breakdown of how this imperialism works, please check out the first 3 minutes or so of the 1966 video, which is linked in the description below. Otherwise, we are ready to start. Today we will tackle one of the most unique seasons in NFL history, and not for good reasons. This is 1982, where a work stoppage after week 2 caused the cancellation of almost half the season. This is why we have the asterisk here. Each NFL team only played 9 games with a highly imbalanced schedule. Now this half season happened, but it really didn't, and all results are to be taken with a grain of salt. Before we get into any of that, there was a relocation in 1982, but that is not reflected on this map. The Oakland Raiders became the Los Angeles Raiders. For anyone wondering why the 49ers were placed at the top of California while the Raiders were more toward the middle, this is why. The map need not change, so it won't change. But we now have to take greater care toward referring to the Raiders as being from Los Angeles. Super Bowl 17 was still played, and it was won by the Washington Redskins, defeating the Miami Dolphins. That was the first and only game Washington played against the AFC that season, further demonstrating how unbalanced the schedule was. Our rankings indicate that Washington was indeed the best team this half season, with many usual suspects making out the rest of the top 5. Except for the New York Jets at number 2, wowzers. The Baltimore Colts technically went winless this half season, ending with an 0-8-1 record. Of course, they missed out on 7 games and rightfully don't go down in history with other teams that went winless in full seasons. We here at Imperialism don't do half seasons though, so we're ready to roll through this one like it was any other. This is 1982's first spin, and it will go to the San Diego Chargers. They will head to the Northwest, so we will kick things off immediately with a game. The Chargers will travel to LA to face the Rams. The Chargers lead 14-10 in the fourth quarter from their own 37. Dan Fouts is going to look for Wes Chandler, makes the catch, and is able to avoid and outrun everyone into the end zone. What a play by Chandler, single-handedly getting that done. 63 yards, giving the Chargers a 21-10 lead. From here, the teams rapidly exchange touchdowns. The Rams get one there. That was Willie Miller. Chuck Muncie runs one in for the Chargers. The Rams then respond with this screen pass to fullback Mike Gooman for the touchdown. Setting up an onside kick, it's 28-24. That ball is loose and the Rams recover. 16 seconds ago, they hand it off to Wendell Tyler. He stays up for a while. They finally get him down. Time is ticking. 1, and that's it. These teams are trying too hard to sneak in a run play before the last play. It's not working. 35 total points scored in the fourth quarter. The Chargers hold on to win the game 28-24. This was certainly a down year for the Rams. This was the first time we'd ever seen them in the bottom 5. They're unable to defend their land in this game. The Chargers take them off the map and expand their land into the entirety of Southern California. With our first team eliminated, we'll spin the wheel again, and we'll get the Cowboys a rare early appearance. Might they have to go on the road? Nope. They're going to go slightly northwest into the Oklahoma Panhandle and expand into that state. We'll spin this again and find that we get the Baltimore Colts. The arrow's going to take them north, slightly northeast. So the winless in 1982 Baltimore Colts have to go on the road against our reigning imperialism champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. This game's going about as you'd expect it. Eagles lead 31-0 in the third quarter. Ron Jaworski will find Harold Carmichael wide open. The Colts look to track him down, but he's able to sneak into the end zone, giving the Eagles now a 28-0 lead. The Colts saved some face. They came back and scored some points. Too little, too late. Eagles win the game 28-13. So while the Eagles' desire to repeat as Imperialism champions is still alive, the Colts were not able to nab that one victory they weren't able to get during the 82 season. The Colts are out and the Eagles advance. We go back to the wheel and we're going to be landing on the New Orleans Saints. They are going to be heading to the northeast, and as has become its custom here lately, they will expand into the state of Mississippi. We'll spin this wheel one more time and see that we're going to be landing on the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins don't seem to have the magic elixir to avoid being chosen early. We don't need to spin the arrow for this one. The Dolphins only have one direction to go. They will be heading to Tampa to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers hold on to a 14-10 lead in the second quarter. Handoff up the middle goes to James Wilder, dodges a couple of guys, drags someone for about 15 yards, outruns the other tacklers. He's just stopped at the edge of the goal line. That was all James Wilder. It's fullback James Owens who will get the touchdown. The Bucs ran the ball pretty much as they pleased in this game. Controlled the clock. Second half didn't offer too many fireworks. Tampa Bay will win this game 24-10. The 1982 season was a different one. The Dolphins won the AFC, went to the Super Bowl, and actually led that game in the fourth quarter. But the reality is that they were just okay as a team. 1982 was weird. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defend the homeland, knock Miami out of the game, take over the entire state of Florida, and they will continue on in imperialism. We head on over back to this wheel, and it will be choosing the Green Bay Packers. The arrow's going to take them west with a little bit of southern tilt, not enough to avoid hitting the corner of Minnesota. Packers at Vikings is next. Minnesota sits at the edge of the goal line, third down. This pitch goes to Darren Nelson. He navigates his way into the end zone. This will extend Minnesota's lead to 21-10. Green Bay couldn't do much more. Minnesota tacked one on, win the game by a final score of 28-10. The Vikings, Imperialism's second most winning team, tacks one on. They defend their land, defeat the Packers, remove them from the map, and the Vikings will continue on. How about we get another spin of the wheel in? It will be selecting the Atlanta Falcons. They will head slightly to the southwest, and the Buccaneers are being called right back up. They'll get to be at home again, this time against the Falcons. The Falcons have controlled the game in the first half, leading 7-0 and driving for more. Steve Bartkowski finds his tight end Junior Miller for the touchdown. That'll put Atlanta up 13-0. The extra point was blocked, but they add a field goal, 16-0 at the half. It's now 16-7 in the third quarter. Tampa looking to come back. This handoff goes to James Wilder, and he goes wild around that Falcon defense. Gets into the end zone to make it 16-14. Tampa's defense holds on strong, getting the ball back into the hands of the offense. From the 26, Doug Williams drops back. He will find his tight end. That is Jimmy Giles. That's almost a replication of Atlanta's touchdown from the same spot on the field almost as well. 21-16, Tampa's now taking the lead. Atlanta looking to come back. This handoff goes to William Andrews. We're under 2 minutes. He's making moves. He turns on the speed. He gets past midfield. And now the ball is loose. Dave stalls. D lineman runs all the way down the field to force this fumble. Tampa will add a touchdown, and they make a comeback. They were down 16-0 in the half. They score 28 unanswered in the second half and win 28-16. It was starting to look like a repeat of last season where Tampa beat Miami then lost to Atlanta. This time around, Tampa beat Miami and beats Atlanta as well. They take over that entire land and have now entered a period of isolation. We've now eliminated 5 teams, and the 49ers are being called up next. Arrow's going to take them south slightly southwest. Either way, they will be heading into the territory of the Los Angeles Raiders. This will be their first game as the Los Angeles Raiders, and it will be in LA. We're tied at 7 in the second quarter. The 49ers face 3rd and 2 inside the 10. Handoff goes to Jeff Moore. He's very close to a first down. But the 49ers are going to choose to kick a field goal here in what's very much a makeable 4th and 1. But it's going to be 25 yards from Ray Wersching. The rush comes after him, but he gets the kick off, and the 49ers will lead 10-7. They have the ball again at the 45-yard line, time ticking away in the half. Joe Montana drops back, looks for Earl Cooper, but corner Lester Hayes is there at the 34 to pick it off, and he's got more speed than anyone else on the field. Cooper's giving him chase, but he's not going to get him. 66-yard touchdown return just as the first half's about to expire, giving LA a 14-10 lead. They get the ball in the third quarter now, right down the field. From the 2-yard line, this pitch goes to Marcus Allen. Leapfrogs his way into the end zone, the rookie sensation out of USC. The 49ers are going to regret kicking that field goal. They lost all the momentum, and the Raiders take that lead, and they hold on to it, winning the game 24-17. So our first Imperialism game in LA, that was a Raider home game, is a victory for them. They defeat the 49ers, take them off the map, and now California is split between the Raiders and the Chargers. Every winning team so far scored either 28 or 24 points. Very interesting. The Cardinals get chosen by the wheel. We need a photo finish here. That arrow goes to the southeast and will cross into Illinois before it hits Kentucky. That's going to give us this game, the Cardinals at the Bears. We're in the second half. The Bears lead 7-3. This is a draw play to Walter Payton. He slices right through the defense, makes one last move at the end. Spectacular 39-yard touchdown run for the greatest running back of all time. The Bears lead 14-3. The Cardinals aren't resting on their laurels. They have driven down now as the fourth quarter. Neil Lomax flips it to Otis Anderson, and he's making a habit of catching touchdown passes in Imperialism. That will close the gap to 14-10. As time ticks away now, it is 17-10. The Cardinals have taken 2 straight sacks and face a 3rd and 27. Neil Lomax throws a desperation pass intercepted by Len Walterscheid, and that'll put an end to things. The Bears maintain their homeland, winning this game 17-10. So the 24/28 streak has ended, but home teams continue to perform very well here in 1982. The Bears hold off the Cardinals, win the game, take over Eastern Missouri, and they move on in Imperialism. We move on to our next spin, which is going to be a guaranteed expansion. That's going to stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They will head northwest, so the state of Alabama will now belong to them. This next spin is going to be incredibly close. It's going to be the Giants. So too will the arrow. We need a close-up photo finish. And looking at that arrow, we can see that it is going to enter the Bills' territory in New York. So that's going to be our game. The Bills will host the Giants. The Bills trail 10-7 in the third quarter, late in the third quarter. They'd like to get a touchdown here, but Joe Ferguson throws to the covered tight end, and that led to a field goal. Now, with actually a little bit of time left in the third quarter, Scott Brunner fires a deep pass to Ernest Gray, makes a nice catch, makes a couple of nice moves after. That's 37 yards. That would lead to Gray's touchdown a few plays later. So where the Bills settled for a field goal, the Giants get a touchdown. They lead 17-10. But Buffalo is on the comeback trail. They now have the ball at the 19-yard line, and that was a bad decision. Tried to dump it off. Terry Jackson there for the interception. The Giants will run the clock out. Low scoring, but close. The Giants go to Buffalo and win 17-10. They're the New York Giants, but as we know, they play in New Jersey. However, here in Imperialism, they can now claim the state of New York as they take the Bills out of the game. We're getting another close call on the wheel here. This will just get past the Cowboys and go to the Eagles. They will go east with a slight dip south. That slight dip will completely verify that they'll be going into the Jets' territory. Remember, the Jets are ranked number 2 coming into this season. Eagles at Jets. The Jets are holding a 10-7 lead in the third quarter. Play action pass to Wesley Walker, perfectly placed by Richard Todd. Walker does the rest. That will extend the Jet lead to 17-7. Philadelphia now looking for a comeback from the 22-yard line. We're now in the fourth quarter. Play action. Jaworski fires for Charlie Smith, and it's overthrown and intercepted by Bobby Jackson. The Jets will now take over with a 10-point lead. They get sacked on first down. Now on second down. Here comes everybody, and that ball's loose. Back-to-back sacks, and this one will turn into a scoop and score touchdown for Dennis Harrison. And the Eagles, what a turn of events there for them. All of a sudden got their touchdown at 17-14. Now it's up to their defense. The Jets have gotten the ball to the 40-yard line. Todd has time, throws to Wesley Walker, who extends for the touchdown catch as he glides across the plane of the end zone. 24-14, that's going to be our final. Walker had himself a game. Maybe the Jets are for real. They take out last season's champion. Looking at the map here, we just saw the Giants expand from out of North New Jersey. The Jets will now expand from out of South New Jersey. They take over the Eagles' land and are maybe a contender going forward. We've had a steady progression through Imperialism so far. This is almost a guaranteed expansion with the Broncos. They'll head northwest. They had a chance to catch the Cowboy territory. Instead, they will expand into the state of Wyoming. Let's try this one more time. We're going to be landing on the New Orleans Saints. Arrow's going to head west, slightly dipping south, but not enough to hit the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to go into the territory of the Houston Oilers. Saints at Oilers will be our next game. Clinging to a second half 9-7 lead, the Saints are at the Oilers' 20-yard line. That run goes nowhere. That'll bring out rookie kicker Morton Anderson for this 40-yard field goal. That'll make it 12-7. The Saints get the ball back from the 9-yard line. Now in the fourth quarter, George Rogers gets around the defenders, gets in for the touchdown, making this a 19-7 game. This was a sloppy game. The Saints give one up late to the Oilers to no avail. They will hold on to win this game 19-14. These weren't good teams that we had to watch playing here. The Oilers, despite the Colts being winless, actually ranked at the bottom of our bottom 5. The Saints were good enough to go into Houston and win this game. They take over their land and with Tampa Bay own the Gulf Coast. We've now eliminated 10 teams from 1982. The Bengals are called up by the wheel. The arrow will take them southwest. That will be an expansion into the state of Kentucky. Expansions have usually been followed by games so far this season. The Steelers are chosen by the wheel, and we will get a game. They will head into the southeast. That will hit the now expanded territory of the Jets. The Jets are trying to break open this stagnant game. They trail 3-0 late in the first half. Richard Todd will fire to Wesley Walker. He's done everything for the Jets so far this season. That will give them a 7-3 lead. They will take that lead all the way into the fourth quarter, where they are punting from their own 25-yard line. The Steelers are coming after it. Can they get it off? No, it's blocked. It's scooped up by Mel Blount. Here in 1982, he's still going at it and going at it strong. The Steelers get their first touchdown on special teams, taking a 10-7 lead. The Jets now, it is 3rd and 11. The Steelers bring the defense forward. There's 2:19 remaining. They run it right up the middle. I guess they're going to be going for the field goal here. They're going to call timeout, and they're going to call a play. So instead of going for the tie after going conservative on 3rd down, they're going to go for it on 4th. Let's see what they've got. Play action. Todd holds it, fires to Wesley Walker, and he drops it. Oh my goodness, they're Mr. Everything fails to come through in the clutch, and the Steelers will go on the road and hold on to a 10-7 victory. The Jets came in at number 2 in our rankings, but we've mentioned this before. This was a weird season. The Steelers go on the road, beat the Jets, take over their land, and are maybe trying to relive some of the glory days of the 1970s. This next spin of the wheel will be finding us the reigning Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins. They will head northeast and bring the Pittsburgh Steelers right back into action. The Steelers just took out the number 2 ranked team. Can they take out the number 1 ranked team? They will be at home this time. The Steelers led 10-7 at the half, but Washington has other plans for how this game's going to turn out. Joe Theismann fires into the end zone to Charlie Brown, actually just right outside the end zone. Brown gets the touchdown, giving the Redskins a 14-10 lead. Now in the fourth quarter, they've gotten it down to basically the inch line. The handoff will go to Joe Washington, in for the injured John Riggins. He extends the lead to 21-0. Washington dominated the second half. Any and all comeback attempts by Pittsburgh were thwarted. 21-10 will be our final score. So the champs are able to advance after playing their first game. They will take over the Steelers' territory and expand their land. There are still some teams we haven't heard from. This might hit the Lions. It's very close. It'll just get there to the Lions. They will head west, and they will be facing their division rival Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis. This game was such a defensive battle that the teams actually exchanged safeties. This is Dave Purifori getting it for the Lions, cutting the Viking lead to 7-5. And now this one is going to be Charlie Johnson, former superstar of the Philadelphia Eagles, giving the Vikings a 9-5 lead. And they've exchanged field goals now. It's 12-8. This pitch goes out to Billy Sims. We're under 50 seconds to go. Sims going down the sideline, gets inside the 20. The Lions get knocked back. 10 seconds to go from the 29. They're just going to give it to Sims and hope for the best. He gets inside the 10-yard line, but he's caught. And we have perhaps the weirdest score we've ever had in any Imperialism game. The Vikings win 12-8. And with that 12-8 victory, the Vikings will take the Lions off the map, expand their land, and might be looking to return to their glory days and perhaps win a 4th Imperialism championship. We'll give this wheel another whirl, and we're going to just stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Arrow's going to take them west. So the future NFC South Division rivals will face off in this game for control of the Gulf Coast. The Buccaneers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. The Saints hold on to a 7-3 second half lead, but Tampa's trying to take it away. This pass goes to Kevin House in the end zone, but it's incomplete. Tampa will settle for a 28-yard field goal. That barely went in, but it went in. It's 7-6. Now Tampa has driven to the 12-yard line. We're in the fourth quarter. This handoff goes to James Wilder, and he's able to get into the end zone, giving Tampa Bay a 13-7 lead on the road. They've worked hard for this lead. Can they hold on to it? The Saints, from their own 33-yard line, 2:41 to go. Play action. Ken Stabler floats a pass to Lindsey Scott, and it's intercepted by Neil Colsey. Colsey brings it back. That is his 3rd pick of the game. That'll be enough for Tampa to hold on and win this defensive battle 13-7. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now become the first team in this season's Imperialism to win 3 games. They take over the Saints' territory and are now in complete control of the Gulf Coast. We've now eliminated half the teams in this season's Imperialism. The Cleveland Browns, for the first time, are up. They will head to the Northwest, where they will travel into Minnesota to play the Vikings. The Browns are deep in their own territory, just looking to run out the clock on the first half. Handoff up the middle to Charles White, and that ball is knocked out by corner John Swain, and it's picked up by defensive tackle Charlie Johnson run in for the touchdown. Cleveland goes from a 7-5 lead to a 12-7 deficit. Yes, Minnesota had another safety in this game. Cleveland's going to be looking to come back here. We're in the third quarter. Handoff up the middle to Mike Pruitt, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets it down to about the 2-yard line. Very next play, he's going to get it around left end and score it. So Cleveland will retake the lead, kicking the extra point here, making it 14-12. But you know Minnesota's looking to come back. They've driven the ball down to the 21-yard line. This handoff, no, play action. That leaves Ahmad Rashad open, and Tommy Kramer finds him for the touchdown. Minnesota has retaken the lead, 19-14. We have an entire fourth quarter still ahead of us. Cleveland facing 3rd and 10 with 2:41 to go, and Brian Sipe is sacked by James White. They're forced to punt this. It's 4th and 19. Here on 3rd and 11, this pitch to Darren Nelson gets around the end and somehow escapes and gets the first down. That'll put an end to this game. The Vikings are able to run out the clock and hold on to their 19-14 victory. So in our last game, the Buccaneers became the first team to win 3 games this season. They are now joined by the Vikings, and in doing so, they removed the Cleveland Browns from the map and are looking like a force once again in Imperialism. We continue on with the second half of 1982 Imperialism. This wheel will just select the LA Raiders. They will head northeast. That will be an expansion. The state of Oregon now belongs to the Raiders. Our last spin just missed the Bears. This one will land on them cleanly. They will head northwest. They will also be expanding. That is the state of Iowa. We'll try this one more time, and we're going to be getting the Kansas City Chiefs. They will head slightly to the southeast, but that will hit the Bears' territory, bringing us full circle in a sense on this round. The Bears will host the Chiefs. Chicago leads by 10 in the fourth quarter and are on the doorstep. From the 6-yard line, single back formation, that is Matt Suhey up the middle, makes a couple of jukes and gets into the end zone. This will extend the Bears' lead to 31-14, and the Bears exploded on offense in this game with a final score victory of 45-14. This Imperialism had been incredibly steady. No team had scored over 30 points. Only 2 teams had scored fewer than 10 points. But the Bears shattered a 30-point barrier by getting all the way up to 45. This bottom 5 team takes the Chiefs off the map, expands their land. They're a couple years away from their dominance, but they may be making some noise this season as well. We're going to get in a couple of expansions here. First, the Bengals will head southwest into Tennessee. Now, for the first time, the Patriots are called into action, kind of. They go southwest into Connecticut. Now we're going to have the Redskins get called up. They will head to the northwest. So not an expansion here. They will head into the territory of the New York Giants. We're about to get that game next. We pick things up in the fourth quarter. Washington leads 21-7. This handoff goes off tackle to John Riggins, dancing around the defenders. They look to be able to catch him at the 20, but he drags him and gets away and will get in for the touchdown, 44 yards to extend the Redskin lead to 28-7. The teams just kind of exchanged back and forth scores here in the fourth quarter, getting us to our final score of 34-20. So while the Giants continue to improve, the Redskins showed why they are the reigning Super Bowl champions. They win this game, they take over the state of New York and everything else the Giants have picked up to this point. And except for the little pesky Patriots right next to them, they own the Northeast. Our next elimination will get us down to 10 teams. The wheel will select the Raiders. They'll head northeast, they'll glide past Nevada and expand into Idaho. We spin the wheel again and we're going to get the Redskins. Might they be playing back-to-back games here? They will. They're going to head to the northeast to the newly opened up area of the Patriots. We're finally going to get New England on the field and they're going to host the reigning Super Bowl champions. Both teams will take turns turning the ball over deep in their opponent's territory. First it was the Redskins, this time it was the Patriots. That said, the Patriots do lead 10-0 here in the third quarter. Steve Grogan's looking to add to the lead. He throws his second pick of the game. This one goes to Mark Murphy from the 38-yard line. He's going to take off. They're chasing after him. He thinks someone's going to die for him, but they don't. And Murphy will get the Redskins' first points of the game on defense. They have cut the lead down to 10-7. Now New England at their own 29-yard line. Steve Grogan will drop back. Fires to Stanley Morgan, extends and makes the catch. A few plays later, the Patriots will be settling for this 48-yard field goal by John Smith. He buries it. This was the season where he made the snowplow kick. Patriots lead 13-7. It's now 4th and 6 for Washington. Back at their own 25, the pass to Art Monk is incomplete. A little early to maybe be going for it, but they tried. The Patriots now come out on the first play of their drive. Grogan's going to go for it. Throws it to Bradshaw in the end zone, and it's picked off once again by Mark Murphy. His second of the game, Grogan's third interception thrown. The Redskins get a reprieve and have the ball at the 20-yard line. First play after the pick. Theismann has all day, fires it deep to Charlie Brown, makes the catch, keeps on running. He eats up 49 yards worth. Now, a couple plays later, it's 4th and 5 again. Play action. Will they go to Monk just like they did? They will, and this time it works. And Washington has tied it up at 13. The extra point will give them their first lead of the game, 14-13. The Patriots, though, they're facing 3rd and 16. Grogan looks to tight end Don Hasselbeck. He will just get enough yards for the first down. Few plays later, they're in Washington territory, edge of field goal range at the 37. The pitch goes to Tony Collins. He gets the first and a lot more, and they're very much in field goal range now. After a sack, it's 2nd and 18 from the 25. This looks very familiar. Grogan throws in the end zone to Morris Bradshaw. Incomplete this time. And it looks like New England's not going to waste any more time. They're going to bring out their reliable kicker, 2 for 2 in this game, for this 44-yard attempt. Lines it up, the rush comes, and it's blocked. The Redskins will recover it, and that'll do it. The Patriots, once again, give us a thrilling game, but come up just a little bit short. The Super Bowl champion Redskins win it 14-13. We called them the pesky Patriots in reference to their position on the map, but they were pesky on the field for Washington too. They didn't do enough to win though. The Redskins will take over their territory and now unequivocally, outside of unclaimed lands, own the Northeast. 4 teams have yet to see the field. The Seahawks have not been called at all. The Bengals have not seen the field. They're heading south, and they will now. All that expansion they were doing, they've now run into the territory of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game will be in Tampa. The Bengals came out flat, uninspired. Maybe it's the Tampa Heat, but they didn't even put up a fight in this game. Here it was 21-0 until this touchdown pass from Doug Williams to wide receiver Gordon Owens. That made it 28-0. Tampa just piled it on. A very surprising result. The Bengals were certainly not a bad team in 1982, but this game did not work out for them. The Buccaneers win 42-0. This might be Tampa Bay's last chance to make some noise in Imperialism for a long time. They're going to go on a very long losing run beginning in 1983, 14 consecutive losing seasons. But in this season's Imperialism, they beat the Bengals, they take them off the map, and they extend their land from the tip of Texas and the tip of Florida all the way through central Ohio. We'll be on the lookout for a closer game on this spin. We're going to land on the Vikings, and that arrow's going southeast. We need a photo finish, and maybe more than that, we need a close-up photo finish. Looking at that arrow, it is bypassing the corner of Indiana, and following its trajectory, it will be hitting the territory of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What a roundabout way that we're getting to this game, but that will be the game we're going to watch next. The Vikings come right out and score a touchdown on their first drive. That is Tommy Kramer to Sammy White. Tampa responds in kind. Doug Williams finds Kevin House, and this game came out on fire, 7-7. We actually enter the half 14-10 Minnesota, but Tampa's driving. They're at the 30-yard line, looking to at least get 3 points out of this drive. Doug Williams tries to force a pass. It's picked off by Kurt Knopf from the 31-yard line, and he's not the fastest in the world, but he's fast enough to beat these Tampa linemen. That's going to be a pick-6 touchdown for the Vikings. They're not going to make the extra point. It doesn't matter. They take a 20-10 lead, and they're able to extend that all the way through to a 30-10 victory. So the Tampa Bay run has ended. They did great. They won 4 games. Like we said, they're about to face down some bad seasons. In the meantime, Minnesota, a 3-time Imperialism champion, continues to grow their land and have to be considered a favorite to win it all. Only 8 teams remain. This spin is going to be very close. It's just going to go inside the Bears' territory. The arrow is going to require a photo finish, and look at that. It was going to be exceedingly difficult for any team to invade Dallas, but the Bears found the perfect arrow spin, and they've now got to travel to Dallas to face the Cowboys. Chicago scored first, but Dallas scored often. This is a fake field goal. Holder / quarterback / punter Danny White picks it up, runs it into the end zone to extend the Cowboy lead to 21-7, and never got any better. They blew them away in the second half, winning this game 49-7. So as per usual, it seems the Cowboys will get their first game at home in Imperialism against a bottom 5 team. It happened this time as well. The only difference is it happened much later in the game. The Bears gave it a shot. They won a couple of games. They're done. The Cowboys take over their land. They have that little squeeze area between Oklahoma and Missouri, giving them access to the Midwest. Our push to the end of 1982 continues. We land on the champ Redskins. They head southwest. That will be an expansion into West Virginia. We spin the wheel one more time. We're going to get the Dallas Cowboys. They will head to the southeast, so they will close out that little gap there, pick up the state of Arkansas, and expand their land. We'll try this one more time. We're going to once again land on the Cowboys. They're going to go southeast again, but this time they're going to be running into someone else's land. So the Cowboys will have to take the show on the road. They will play the Vikings in Minnesota. After settling for 3 field goals, the Cowboys are looking to break through and score a touchdown. Here they receive that touchdown. Ron Springs from the goal line gets it going, giving the Cowboys a 16-7 lead in the fourth quarter. Minnesota facing a 4th and 10 from midfield, looking to make something of this game. They run the ball, and it goes nowhere. Dallas tacks on 10 more and actually won this game fairly easily. Final score 26-7. So Dallas has taken some heat from us, without question, that they get to play at home against so-so teams. Here they go on the road and beat the Vikings, take over their land, and they have the most land of any team on the map right now. Only 6 teams remain, representing only 2 divisions. The Seahawks get chosen. There's no need to spin the wheel. They are surrounded by the Raiders. We have 4 AFC West teams, at least from 1982, and 2 NFC East teams ready to go. This next game will be Seattle at LA. The Raiders will look to strike first late in the first quarter. Jim Plunkett will roll out to his left. Throw it to Marcus Allen, makes a diving catch for the touchdown, showing off his receiving chops. The Raiders will take a 7-0 lead into the second quarter. The Seahawks look to respond. They are at the 14-yard line. Facing the pressure, Jim Zorn gets it off to Steve Largent. Catches it in a crowd. Next play, they're going to give Largent his flowers. He will get the touchdown. He had that kind of game today. He made all sorts of catches in traffic, keeping drives alive. We are tied at 7. Now, Seattle has the ball at the 34-yard line. Very little time left. They're going to run it. That's Sherman Smith. They're looking to get a better field goal attempt. He did get them quite a bit of yards there. This will now be a 42-yarder for Norm Johnson. He will make it, and Seattle will lead this game at the half, 10-7. They now have the ball in the third quarter. They're moving it somewhat. They've gotten to their own 40-yard line. Handoff up the middle to Dan Dornick, and that ball is out. The fumble is forced by the Raiders. They will pick it up, run it down past the 20. They're going to cross the 10-yard line where they're taken down at the 7. Seattle's defense, though, holding strong here. It is 3rd and goal. Forcing a quick pass, incomplete. The Raiders had to settle for a field goal. They would tack on another field goal. It's now 13-10. Jim Zorn fires it deep to Paul Johns. What a perfect throw. Being on the other side of Steve Largent, advantageous to him. Big gain of 43 yards. It is now 3rd and 10. Seattle needs this. They're going to do a play action. Jim Zorn looks to take off. He is going to hurdle and make an incredible run. Gets it down to about the 3-yard line. It is now 2nd and goal from the 7. Handoff up the middle to Dornick, and he makes an incredible run for a touchdown, making up for that fumble. Seattle in the 4th quarter now has taken the lead, 17-13. LA will now look to respond from their own 42-yard line. Jim Plunkett will drop back, look for old reliable Cliff Branch. He goes up and gets it. They try to chase him down, and they finally do at about the 11-yard line. So that was a big play. Now on 2nd down, Raiders couldn't do anything on 1st. Plunkett will drop back, finds his tight end, Todd Christensen. Goes in and scores right after the 2-minute warning. The Raiders now lead 20-17. Seattle will have time to catch up themselves. They've gotten it to the 44. Minute 15 to go. Zorn flips the pass, and it's intercepted by Van McElroy. He's still on his feet. He finally goes down, but that will do it for the Raiders. They're able to squeak by and win this game against Seattle 20-17. So we've lost one of the 4 AFC West teams. 3 of them still persist. The Raiders will take over Seattle's land, and we now have 3 teams in the West and 2 teams in the East who are going to battle it out to become Imperialism champion. We are now 4 games away from crowning an Imperialism champion. The Raiders are selected by the wheel. They will head southeast. That is an expansion into the state of Nevada. We'll get in one more quick expansion. The Chargers will head southeast and grab Arizona. We'll spin the wheel again. It's going to be landing on the Redskins. They will head due west, and that will run into the territory of the Dallas Cowboys. So a rematch of this season's NFC Championship game is now on the docket. Dallas brings a 10-0 lead into the 3rd quarter, but Washington's trying to catch up. John Riggins goes up the middle, breaks a tackle. It's going to be a foot race. They get him, but he breaks the plane. That is going to be a touchdown. Washington is now on the board. They have cut the lead down to 10-7. Here comes Dallas, though. They're at their own 46-yard line. They will send Tony Dorsett up the middle. He looks bottled up, but he breaks free, and there's nobody in the picture. They're going to catch up to him before he gets to the 20, but that was a big play. Now Dallas looks to throw. Danny White fires to Drew Pearson for the touchdown. Dallas will extend their lead to 17-7, and they will play clamp down defense the rest of the way. This is going to be our final score. Washington was unable to go into Dallas and win this game, and our number 1 ranked team and the reigning Super Bowl champions are out. Speaking of which, looking at this map, their territory will now fall to the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys are up against 3 other AFC West teams. One of these 4 will win 1982 Imperialism. Each team gets 1 expansion here. The Chargers first, they'll go southeast into New Mexico. Now is the Broncos. They will head northeast into South Dakota. Next up will be the Cowboys. They will head north. They will take Indiana. And of course that leaves the Raiders. They head east into Utah. Next on the wheel is the Chargers. This is going to have to be a game. They're surrounded now. They will go northwest, and they will battle the Raiders. So the Chargers took the field for this season's first game in LA and beat the Rams. They go back to LA now to play the Raiders. The Raiders lead 3-0 in the 2nd quarter, but the Chargers have driven it down to the 34-yard line. Dan Fouts fires a perfectly in-stride pass to Charlie Joyner. He gallops into the end zone, giving the Chargers now a 7-3 lead. Now, before we get to halftime, the Raiders are going to try to do something for themselves. They've got the ball at midfield. Jim Plunkett looks toward the center of the field, beats the defender, gets the ball to Todd Christensen, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets down to the 13-yard line. They've only gotten to the 10 now. It's third down. Jim Plunkett will be chased, gets the ball out, incomplete. Chris Barr will kick this field goal. That'll give us a halftime score of 7-6 Chargers. Now in the third quarter, from their own 23, Dan Fouts drops back, has time, throws it deep. Another perfect pass to Charlie Joyner. No one's near him. The easiest 77-yard touchdown you may ever see. That will extend the Chargers to a 14-6 lead. The Raiders now have 4th and 2 from the 5-yard line. Play action. Plunkett looks for Malcolm Barnwell. He will make the catch. A huge play. The Raiders chose to go for the touchdown there rather than kick the field goal. They will kick the extra point. It's 14-13. Now the Chargers looking to respond. They've gotten it down to the 44-yard line. Deep pass to Wes Chandler, and he's taking off. He will come just short. John Capoletti will cap it off with this touchdown. 21-13. That is the third long bomb that the Chargers have connected on. Now it's up to their defense. The Raiders from their own 25. 2 minutes and change to go. Plunkett tries to get away. He can't. Louis Kelcher forces the fumble. The ball's bouncing around. The Chargers are able to recover it before they go out of bounds. They tack on a touchdown. And for the second time this season, they've gone into Los Angeles and won a game. They beat the Raiders 28-13. So looking at this map, the Raiders were 8-1 in 1982's half season. They lose one game at Imperialism, and that's all you need. The Chargers will take them off the map, and it's now looking like the Broncos are probably going to have to play in the next game if they want to go to the championship game. We're going to start with a couple of Cowboy expansions. First, they will head northwest and take North Dakota, and now they will head northeast and take Vermont. Now we get the Broncos on the wheel. They will head to the northeast and they will slide through that area in South Dakota and hit the Cowboy territory. So the San Diego Chargers, for the first time, will appear in the Imperialism Championship game. The Broncos have made it this far plenty of times, mainly because of their geography. Often enough, they take the loss, but they've been in the title game before. The Cowboys were in the title game last year and won it in 1967. Which of these two teams will play the Chargers? Let's find out. The Cowboys lead 10-0 in the first half and are looking for more. The Broncos bring the defense up. Danny White looks like he's checking into a pass play. He does. The out route to Butch Johnson goes for the touchdown. Johnson in for the injured Tony Hill. The Cowboys extend to a 17-0 lead. They take that into the fourth quarter where the teams exchange very late touchdowns. Really nothing to see here. Broncos didn't do much to stay in this game. Dallas wins it 24-7. And that will set up our Imperialism 17 championship game. 1982 was kind of a non-season in many people's eyes. I count myself in that group. But we went ahead and pared it down to these two teams, the San Diego Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go spin this wheel and find out where this game's going to be played. And here is that spin. It's going to be landing on the Chargers. So they're going to travel to Dallas. Imperialism 17 is on the line. The Cowboys waste no time driving down the field in the first quarter. From the 5-yard line, Danny White finds a covered Tony Hill, but he makes the catch anyway. And just like that, the Cowboys have jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Now in the second quarter, they've once again taken the ball down the field. From just inside the 1, Ron Springs gets his way into the end zone. The Cowboys have had a great defense this whole run. 14-0 might be enough, but the Chargers are going to challenge them anyway. from the 39-yard line. They run Chuck Muncie up the middle. He breaks a tackle, spins away from another, gets it down to about the 16. It is now 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line. The Cowboys back the defense up. The Chargers are going to throw anyway. It's a screen pass to James Brooks, makes a move and dives in for the touchdown. Muncie got hurt after that run. Brooks had to come in, and he scores a touchdown to make it 14-7. Can the Chargers defense hold the Cowboys? They've taken it to the 28-yard line. Danny White looks for Tony Hill, breaks free for the touchdown, 21-7. As we mentioned, the Cowboys defense is going to be too much for the Chargers. The final score of this game will be 28-7. The Dallas Cowboys win this game, and they win Imperialism. This is their 2nd championship. The first one came all the way back in 1967. But the Lone Star of the Lone Star State now sits on top of the United States. 1982 was indeed a half season in the NFL. We went ahead and went full bore in Imperialism though. The Redskins and the Dolphins played in the real-life Super Bowl, but the Imperialism Championship game was between the Dallas Cowboys and the San Diego Chargers. The Cowboys did the same thing the Eagles did last season. The Eagles were ranked number 1 in 1980 and won it the next year, and the Cowboys were ranked number 1 in 81 and won it the next year. And here is who they won it with. These Cowboy teams in the early 80s were pretty good, but were never able to break through. In fact, they lost the NFC title game 3 straight years, including in 1982. But they certainly had talent. Tony Dorsett's in the Hall of Fame. Tony Hill had a great run in 1982. And as usual with any team that wins Imperialism, they're bringing out a good offensive line. Tom Rafferty, Pat Donovan leading the way. But certainly the strength of this team was right here with this defense, and we're going to start right up front. Ed Jones, you may know him as Ed Too Tall Jones, Randy White, John Dutton, Harvey Martin. Probably the best front four we've seen win Imperialism since the Vikings in 1969 and 1970. Also, Everson Walls had an amazing rookie season in 81, came back in 82 and proved it was no fluke. This Cowboy defense, the Doomsday defense, they earned that nickname all the way. The scores during the first half of 1982 Imperialism, we already mentioned this, they were pretty steady. Nobody went past 30 and only a couple teams went under 10. This was all punctuated by that incredibly weird scoreline of Vikings 12, Lions 8. In the second half, we see that the Cowboys did not appear until the last few games. Interesting to note, they played 5 games and they gave up exactly 7 points in each of those games, including in that championship game where they pulled out 28 points for the win. Those 5 Cowboy victories were enough to give them the most in 1982. The Buccaneers won 4 games. The Vikings, a usual suspect, also won 4 games. The Cowboys maintained and extended their lead at the top of the table here with 43 overall wins. They joined the Vikings, Rams, and Redskins as teams that have won Imperialism multiple times. The Buccaneers at the top of the far right column are 7-7. Of course, they've been in the league a lot less. They've earned themselves a 500 record. Thank you so very much for taking the time to watch this video. This was our 17th Imperialism video. We've still got the rest of the 1980s and more to go. If you haven't already, please take the time to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification. If you're watching this video as it comes out, 1983 will be just a few days away. If you're watching at some point in the future, we've already done 1983 and maybe more. Everything is linked down in the description below. Before we leave, we want to take one last look at the Lone Star sitting on top of the United States. The Dallas Cowboys, considered by many to be America's team, win 1982 Imperialism. Thank you again so very much. We'll catch you next time. Hope you have an awesome day.